something special tonight. Before the music starts, we want you to get to know the artist behind the sound. Josh Birdsong here with us. He's a poetic therapist and songwriter. So go ahead and introduce yourself, who you are and how you describe what you create.
My name is Josh Birdsong. That's my given name. My father came from Oklahoma, went to Texas, moved to Arkansas, moved back to Texas, and now here in Texas I stay. So, can you repeat the question one more time, just so I can munch on it a little bit more? Just who I am and...
Yeah, just an introduction of who you are, how you describe what you create.
Okay. It's a big question, and so I definitely enjoyed taking my time for a big answer. How I describe what I create is it's always been different through every phase of my life, but I think the more that I've done it recently, the more I realize that what I create is something that I don't fully understand. I create from the heart, and the heart doesn't always have to make sense to the mind. And so sometimes my songs come out very mystical, esoteric, kind of hard to understand in a head space, but not hard to understand in the heart space. And I realized that I've always been doing that. I just wasn't aware of how much I was doing that until just the past couple of years.
Okay. So what pulled you into music in the first place? Let's hear about the origin story here.
Well, I started out listening to silly things like Eiffel 65's Blue, I'm Blue, Dabba Dee Dabba Die, you know. And I also listened to a bunch of 90s radio country with my mom until Dad was like, no, son, you're going to listen to classic rock. And so I started getting into classic rock, and naturally that led to Led Zeppelin. I remember one day my cousin Will introduced me to a Led Zeppelin live video, and I was just a kid at the time. I wasn't more than 15 years old. But I remember watching that Led Zeppelin documentary of their concert, and it just changed the way that I thought about music. It made me realize how powerful music is, especially live music. The band members interacting with each other on stage, creating a song different than what the record is, improvising with each other, playing with each other in a musical perspective, and really enjoying each other's energy in a really deep way. And that was the seed, I think, that was planted in me that I didn't really water for another couple years until I picked up the guitar at 15. So it took a while, but it finally found me.
Okay. Now I'm going to get into this mic a little bit here so everybody can hear me. But was there a moment where it shifted from interest into something deeper?
Yes. At first, guitar was a hobby. It was something of interest, something that I didn't know I was necessarily naturally inclined to be good at. And for a long time, even my songwriting, it was all just a hobby, just a personal passion of mine, just a way to... It began as a way to express my inner emotions and connect with my world. And while it's always been that, it has grown in the depth of that desire for connection and... Excuse me. It has grown in the depth of the desire for connection in the world, and that's when I realized it, while it has always been that, it no longer needs to be just a hobby to help me connect with my world. It needs to be my main focus, because for Josh Birdsong, to connect with my inner world, to connect and share my inner world with my outer world is very important to me. So it became much less a hobby of interest and much more a devotional act.
Okay. Now, I'd like to get into your songwriting a little bit. When a song finds you, where does it usually begin? Is it like a lyric, melody, or just a feeling you can't ignore?
These days, my usual process is the music comes first, and when the music comes, a chord progression or a lick or a melody on the guitar, then comes a melody for my voice, and with that melody comes random words. And sometimes I will weave the lyrics from those random words into a song because I pay attention to those random words because in my mind they're not so random. They're maybe coming up from the depth of my psyche while I'm playing the music, and so they become important to me. That being said, there are times when I write with a specific idea in mind. And those usually come from moments of stillness and presence and just a more receptive and relaxed state of being. I clean up the clutter of what's going on in my mind and realize that there is some clarity there that gives way to ideas. Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of went into my next question of,
Okay.
Do your songs tend to come from personal experience or do you pull from the world around you?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
I can definitely elaborate on that question even more.
Sure.
It's definitely a mixture of both because the outer informs the inner, informs the outer, and vice versa. And I think one of the advantages of my songwriting for myself is that while the outer world impacts my inner world, I always write from the inner experience. I don't get too external with my lyrical exploration. It's always the language of the heart, no matter what outside influences impact it.
Okay. How about inspiration? Like, who or what has shaped your sound along the way?
Oh, there's been a lot. Obviously, Led Zeppelin was the beginning. Pink Floyd as well. A lot of classic rock really shaped my inclination to rely heavily on blues structures for my music, for my songwriting. And that has always been a tried and true way for me. So the first person that came to mind when you were asking that question was Jack White, and I realized that Jack White has had a strong impact on my musical upbringing and in my current musical upcoming, I suppose. So Jack White in the early years really taught me to create no matter what, and to be relentless about it, and to use constraints, to use limitation as not as an obstacle to get over, but something to work through, something to influence the art. He would place intentional constraints upon himself, revolving around the number 3. If he lost a pick while he was playing, he'd have to run to the back of the stage to grab another one. Little things like that, little constraints that challenge your mind and keep it engaged. And that has always stuck with me, to stay challenged, to stay engaged, to to cite a recent way that he has impacted my art is he recently got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And in that speech, I'm probably paraphrasing here, but he essentially told us, the aspiring artists, to get in your garage and get busy. Start making something that we can get behind. Put it out there. And I realized not only am I going to continue doing that, but I have been doing that. Though I don't have a literal garage, I have a room. And in that room, I have a studio. And so therefore, I've recorded record after record after record and have created a whole catalog of music that people can get behind.
Okay. This is just for a little fun. Have you ever had or actually, what's something you've been listening to lately that people might not expect?
Something I've listened to lately that people might not expect that I listen to. That's a really hard question because my musical taste is definitely all over the place, and I think people can sense it. But I think what people might be surprised that I listen to would either be just rap or variations of hard rock. For example, Kendrick Lamar is not just one of my favorite rappers; he's one of my favorite artists of all time. He's incredible. I can't say enough good things about him. And people might be surprised that I listen to rap or whatever like that. I don't seem to fit the bill for that. But the other thing that I like to listen to is heavy, hard, super engaging, and intense rock and roll, such as Mr. Bungle. Mr. Bungle has stuck with me through many years of confusing years of life, and sometimes when you have a confusing perspective on life, you need music that matches that. And not that their music is confusing, but it is challenging to listen to, and very engaging, and kind of just goes really hard and really heavy. And I really get a kick out of how comically scary their music is.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar, I would have never guessed.
Yeah.
Um, Now I want to get into live connection a little bit more. There's something different about a space like this. What do you enjoy about playing a room like Indies?
Well, I take every room for what it is, and thankfully this room is a gift because you can tell by the way that a place like Indies is designed. You can tell that it's designed with both audience and performer in mind. It's not just a by-the-way thought of a stage. You know, the whole design is intentional towards promoting listening to the music. It's on the border of being a listening room, which I really appreciate, because listening rooms can be rather intense because everybody is listening to you very intently, naturally. However, at a place like Indies, the tables aren't all directed towards the player, you know. There are chairs around the table, and so some people face away from the player, and so some people are inclined to chat during the music, and I'm very much okay with that because I believe that even if one is not directly watching an artist perform on the stage, they're still receiving their music, even subconsciously, if they're not directly listening to it. So I really appreciate places like this. Now, there are other places that are more of a fun challenge to get the audience's attention. For example, a bar. People are there to drink, talk, have a good time, and you have to kind of be in a wrestling match with the audience. Like, hey, I'm up here. You can pay attention to me, or you cannot, but I'm going to try to get you to. And that's a really fun wrestling match to have to be involved with.
Okay, have you ever had a moment on stage where everything just clicked?
Yes, a long time ago. Back when I was religious, I used to play music at church, and I remember having a really rough time that day, and just having a hard mental health day. And I was up on stage, and I was like, for the longest time during that worship set, I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. But I kept playing anyway. And then something happened. There was a breakthrough where I just felt like I went into a pleasant autopilot mode, and a lot of truth came out of me in that moment. And I think the audience caught on to that, and a lot of truth came out of them in that moment. We all shared a very beautiful, transcendent moment together in the church, and that was really cool.
Yeah, that's really nice. It's something with the crowd, the connection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you ever had sorry, I'll skip a little bit, go into a deeper note here.
Okay.
What does music let you say that's harder to put into everyday conversation?
As I've said in a couple questions past, music for me is the language of the heart, not necessarily the mind. And that's a very important thing for me to say because I have personally found that only through art have I been able to communicate the depths of what I want to communicate to people. It runs deeper than the words. It runs deeper than just the music, just the words, just the song. It's it's uh, it's always me trying to reach a certain moment of presence and peace and grace, and to bring that moment into myself, and then bring that moment out into the audience. And so it's possible to do that through words, through just words, through spoken word. It is possible to do that. But music is like pouring gasoline on the fire, you know? Like you are the thing I've noticed about music is that for me, and I assume for others, uh, music is a thing that helps me um, direct my emotions. If I listen to a happy song, it inclines my emotions to feel positive and happy. If I listen to a sad song, it inclines my emotions to feel lower energy and sad and melancholic, which is cathartic. Um, and so it's little energy directors, you know, like it's hard for me to do that in any other way except music.
Okay. Hence, Josh Birdsong, Poetic Therapy, speaking from the heart to the soul.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So on a lighter note here, and an important question. What do you drink before and after a set?
Oh yeah, I drink the tea. I drink the green tea with a little bit of agave nectar or honey, just something to coat and give the vocals a break from all the unhealthy things I put in them, like vapes and whatnot.
Very nice. If your music had a flavor, what would it be?
Oh man, I well the first thing that I thought of was lavender. I thought of that because of the color, but I think lavender is also an apt, flavorful description. It's very subtle and very deep, and very rich
And floral.
and floral.
Yeah.
Yeah, very earthy.
Okay. A little bit of a forward look here. What are you working toward right now? Is there anything that people should keep an eye out for?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm always working on something. I've got 2 new records that I'm currently concocting, either songs to complete the record or recordings to put the record out. So I have 3 musical projects. One is Josh Birdsong. One is a name I made up called Rymanstrung, and I can spell that for you later if you like. And then the third project is the Mother Project. And so they help me distinct what kind of style, what kind of flavor of lyrics, what subject material, and what story do I want to tell. So the next record coming out is a Josh Birdsong record. It's the 3rd Josh Birdsong record.
Okay, and where can folks find you or follow you, support what you're building?
Bandcamp, Bandcamp, Bandcamp. That is where 10 of my 12 records exist. The other 2 are under my name, Josh Birdsong, on Apple Music and Spotify. But if you look up Josh Birdsong on Bandcamp, you'll see a black and white picture of me with this same old hat, and you'll see that beard, and you'll know it's me.
All right, and last thing, what song are you opening with tonight, and why are you choosing that particular song?
I think I'm going to open with The River Inside Your Hands. It's got a beautiful, slow, soft opening. It kind of invites you into the emotional world. But before the chord progression starts building itself up, I build up the intensity of a single chord. And then I bring you into the chord progression, which is rather melancholic and rather intense and heavy. But it brings you up and down as if you're crossing over mountains. And though it is called The River Inside Your Hands, there's a lot of mountain imagery as well. And so I wanted to get the impression that you're climbing up and down a mountain of emotional intensity.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, I look forward to hearing that. And I think that concludes the interview. Thank you, Josh Birdsong, Poetic Therapy. And if you'd like to contact Josh, it's Josh Birdsong Poetic Therapy at gmail.com. Yeah. Thank you, Josh.